welcome to today's lesson as we're going to check how to solve three simultaneous equations using the determinant method in matrices. So we are saying if you are given a 3 by 3 matrices, then the solution for the determinant using the determinant method is given by x dx, determinant of x, negative of y, dy, z, then you have dz, then you have negative of 1, then the determinant. Now notice something here. The sign changes depending on how many terms you are solving. So remember here we have a positive, it is x dx, which is positive, then this one is a negative, this one is a positive, then this one is a negative. So as we shall find our x and our dx, we shall be doing a comparison with respect to negative 1 over the determinant, right? So we shall have that. So we say for us to find our dx, we close the x column. For us to find our dy, we close the y column. And for us to find our z, we close the z column. Now the difference here, if you have watched the previous lesson with the Cramer's rule is, when you have the constant terms in the right hand side, you first of all bring them to the left hand side before solving the solution, before getting the solutions of your unknowns. So that is the difference. So you shall bring the right hand constants to the left hand side, then from there you will apply the determinant method. Now let us take an example here. So this one is an electric circuit here. Now by Kirchhoff's law we get these three equations. So you have the equation number 1, equation number 2, equation number 3. So we're supposed to get the values of I1, I2 and I3. So let's check the solution. Now, so step number 1 is to bring the right hand side terms to the left hand side. So we shall have 2i1 plus 3i2 negative 4i3. Now when you bring 26 to the left hand side, it becomes the negative of 26 equals to 0. Then you have i1 minus 5i2, then minus 3i3. Then these are negative, comes to the other side, becomes a positive over here, 7 equals to 0. Then you have negative 7i1 plus 2i2, then plus 6i3. Then 12 comes to the other side, becomes negative of what? Negative of 12, which gives you 0. So that is the first step. Now we start by finding our d. So our determinant d. So our determinant d is just found by finding the determinant of the matrix that you form without the constant on the right hand side. So the matrix you form having the I1, the I2 and I3 gives you your d. So extract the constants that you have here. So you have 2, 3, then you have negative 4. So you have 2, you have 3, you have negative of 4. Then you have 1, you have negative of 5, then you have negative of 3. Then you have negative of 7, you have 2, and you have 6. So you find the determinant of that matrix. So therefore, the determinant of D is found by, so you have the first term, closing the rows and the columns. So this column and this row will remain in the matrix negative 5, negative 3, then you have 2, then you have 6. We have our term here, which is negative 3. Then closing this and this, so we shall have 1, negative of 3, negative of 7 dot, and 6, then you have negative of 4. Then this column, this row, so we shall have 1, negative of 5, negative of 7, and we shall have what? We shall have a 2 there. Therefore, we have 2, then 6 times negative 5, that gives you negative of 30, then minus. You have 2 times negative of 3, that is negative 6, but you have a negative here, so you shall have positive of 6. Then you have negative of 3 into brackets. 6 times 1 gives you 6, then minus. You have negative of 7, negative of 3, it just it becomes positive, so you shall have 20, 21, then negative of 4 into brackets. Then 2 times 1 gives you 2, then subtract negative 7 times negative of 5 gives you 35. Now opening up the brackets, so we shall have 2 equals 2. Then negative 30 plus 6 gives you negative of 20. negative of 24. Then you have negative of 3. 6 minus 20, 6 minus 21 gives you the negative of what? Negative of 15. Then you have negative 4. Then you have 2 minus 35 gives you negative of 30, negative of 33. So in our case here, we shall have negative of 48. Then plus, because we have a negative and we have a negative, so we shall have 45. We have a negative and another negative here, so we shall have a positive there. So you have 33 times 2, that gives you 66 times 2, 100 and what? 132. So when you add all these, you have a negative of 48 plus 45, then 32 gives you 129. Now, so we have the value of D. Now we check our value of D I1. So remember, our values are given in terms of I1, I2 and I3. So we are saying, for you to get your D I1, you close the values that are in D I1. So we have in I1, sorry, we have these terms will be closed. So you take the terms from I2 all over to the other side. Remember, we had brought these sides, we have brought these terms here. You can just have this. Then this one, it becomes a negative, then becomes a positive of what? Positive of 87. Then you have a negative of what? Negative of 12 equals to 0, equals to 0, equals to 0. So we have our equation there. Now closing and closing these terms here. So we have 3, negative of 4, negative of 26. Then you have negative of 5, negative of 3. Then you have 87. Then you have 2. You have 6. You have negative of 12. So you're supposed to find the determinant for that. So we take our first term. So it is 3. Then the determinant, this row, this column and this row, we shall have negative 3, 87, 6, negative of 12. Now remember, the term here is supposed to be negative, but we have a negative here, so therefore it becomes out positive value. So therefore, closing this and this, so you shall remain with, this one is 5. So closing this and this, we have negative of 5, 87, 2, and negative of 12. Then lastly, we have a negative of 26, because it's supposed to be a positive, but we have a negative. So we shall just have, closing this and that, we have a negative 5, negative 3, we have 2, and we have 6. Therefore, we shall have 3, negative 3, negative 12, that gives you positive of 13, 36. Then subtract, we have 6 times 87, which gives you 522. Gives you 522. Then you have plus 4. You have negative 5 times negative 12 gives you 60, which is positive. Minus, then you have 87 times 2. You have 174. So we have that. Now the last time we have negative of 26. Then 6 times negative 5 gives you negative of 30. Then subtract. Then you have 2 times negative 3, which gives you negative of 6, but you have a negative here, so then it becomes positive of 6. So therefore we shall have 36 minus 522 gets negative 486. Then plus 4, we have 60 minus 174 get negative 114. Then minus 26, negative 30 plus 6 gives you the negative of 24. Then opening up the brackets, we shall have 3 times 486, which remember it will be a negative because of this negative here. So we shall have negative 1458. Then we have a negative, we have a positive, so the term here will be negative. So therefore we have 114, then times 4, which gives us 456. Then we have a negative and you have a negative, so this term here will be positive. Then we have 26 times 24, which gives us 600 and what? 620, 624. Now adding all those terms, 58, then you subtract 456, then you add 624, 624, that gives us negative 1290. So that is your value for DI1. Now DI2, the same procedure applies. So you close the values at DI2 and you take all the others. So you close these values, you negate these values. You take these values here, these values and these values, so you shall have 2, 1, negative of 7, negative of 4, negative of 3, then you have 6, then you have negative of 26, then you have 87, then you have negative of, then you have the negative of 12. Getting the determinant there, so you shall have, this gives us 2, you shall have negative of 3, 87, then you have 6, negative of 12. Then remember again, this term here is negative, so it shall be what? It shall be positive of 4. Closing this and this, we shall have 1, 87, negative 7, negative 12. Then this term will remain being a negative. Then you shall have 1, negative of 3, negative of 7. You shall have what? You shall have 6. Then you shall have 2. Negative 3 times negative of 12 gives you a positive of 36. Then subtract 6 times 87. Again, 522, then plus 4. Negative 12 times 1 is negative of 12. Then negative of 7 times 87, we have negative of 6 or 9. But remember, we're supposed to have a negative here, so we shall have a positive of 609. Then you have negative of 26. We have 6. Then subtract. This and this is 21, so this remains being 21. So we shall have 2. Then 36 minus 522 gives you negative 486. Then plus 4. Negative of 12. Then plus 609 gives you 597. Then negative of 26. Then have negative of 15 here. Then opening up the brackets. So we have 46, then you multiply by 2, gives you the negative of 972. This one will be a positive value. So we have 4 times 597, which gives us 2388. 2388. Then you have, this one also will be a positive number. Then you have 26 times 15, which will give us 390. So now taking 390, you add to 388, then you subtract 972 to get your answer as 18. 6. So that is your value for DI2. So lastly, we take a value for DI3, then replace our values in the determinant formula to see what we get as the value of I1, I2, and I3. So let's check DI3. We shall have D, we have I3. So this one, again, we shall achieve this by getting the determinant when we close the values for DI3 and taking the others. So we shall take the values of DI1, DI2, and these constant terms here. So we shall have the matrix 2, 1, negative of 7, and we shall have 3, negative of 5, and we shall have 2. So negative 26, we have it here, 7, and we have negative of 12. So therefore, our D should be DI3, therefore is given by, so we shall have 2, then the determinant of this matrix here, so we have negative 5, negative 7, 2, negative of 12, then we shall have negative of 3, remember the middle term is always negative, Then closing this column and this row, we have 1, 87, negative 7, negative of 12. So we have, then subtract, so we have negative of 20, negative of 26. Then we have 1, negative of 5, negative of 7, and 2. We shall have 2. 2. Now we have negative 5 times negative 12, that gives you 60. Then subtract 2 times 87 gives you 174. 174. Then negative of 3. Negative 12 times 1 is negative of 12. Then you have 7 times 87, which gives you 6. It gives you negative of 609, but you have a negative here, so this one becomes positive. 609 minus 26. Then you have 2 times 1 is 2. Then you subtract this and this gives you 35. So you just have 35. So then you have 2. Then you have 60 minus 100 and what? Minus 174, which gives you negative 114. You have negative 3. And you have negative of 12 plus 609. You have 597. Then you have negative of 26. Then you have negative of 30. Negative of 33. Therefore, this one you get as negative of 228. Subtract 597 times 3 gives us what? 1791. Then you have a negative here, you have a negative. So this becomes positive of 26 times 33 gives us 800 and what? 858. So therefore, adding all these terms, so we get 971. Then subtract 228, get negative 1161. So this is your value for di3. So we have all the values that we have that we need. We have the value of d, we have the value of di1, di2, and di3. And what does the determinant law state? It says that x. Now our value here, we can now put it respectively to the terms that we have been given here. So for us to get our value now for I1, I2 and I3, so we shall have I1 over di1 equals to negative I2, negative of di2 equals to positive of I3, then there's no negative here, then we have di3, then equals to negative of 1 over d. So from the x, y and z, so we just now replace our x, y and z with I1, I2 and I3. Now we take two terms at a go with respect to our determinant here. So we know I1, so we take I1 with respect to our determinant here. So our I1 value, so our I1 value over di1, we have gotten it as negative of 1290 is equals to 1, negative of 1 over our determinant was 120, 129. So cross multiplying, so we shall have 129 I1 equals to, we have a negative, so it will become positive 1129, then divided by 1, 29 divided by 129. So our value for I1 is equal to 10. So that is I1. Now we can check our value for I2. So I2, let me just drop here. So I2, so remember we can write our value for di3 here is negative 1161. Now our I2 therefore is given by, now compare I2 with the negative of that. So the negative of I2 over our value for di2 was 1806 equals to negative of 1 over d, 120, 9 cross multiplying again, you have negative of 129 I2 equals to negative 1806. So divide by negative 129 divided by negative of 129. So our I2 value will be given by, so you have 1806 divided by 129 gives you 14. Okay. Yes. Then lastly, we compare now the value of I3. So we can have our I3 value. With the formula, it's here. So I3 given by di3. So what is our value for di3? It's negative 116. It's 1, then negative of 1 by 129. Cross multiplying this, you get 129 I3, then equals to, so then subtract. So negative of that gives you, it's a positive. So negative and a negative becomes positive, so it gives you 1161. So divide by 129, divide by 129. So our value for I3 gives us 1161 divided by 129 gives us 9. So therefore, in general, our value for I1, I2, and I3 are given by, so our I1 is given by 10 amperes, then we have I2 given by 14, okay, then I3 given by what? 9. And that is how you solve 3 unknowns or 3 simultaneous equations using the determinant method. So thank you and see you in the next lesson.